know you can't control me, baby. You need a real one in your life. Them bitches ain't gonna give it to you, right? I'd rather be.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. I'm Zaria.
And I'm Maika.
And this is
Calming the Chaos.
We would love it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can start some healthy conversations and discussions.
Also, be sure to go follow our Instagram page and also feel free to DM us and send us some of your stories. We would love to hear about your experiences, about the things that we talk about. Also, you can also give us topics on what you would like to hear us talk about. As you probably all know, it's a sad day in our history. Roe versus Wade has been overturned, and now it's officially illegal to have an abortion in certain states. Our heart goes out to all the women out there who are struggling and have issues medically or emotionally and can't have a baby. And because of this law, now it becomes more of a struggle for you.
I would also, before we start getting into this discussion, like to go over the states where you can safely and legally get an abortion right now. So, number 1, New York, Maine, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota, Kansas, Illinois, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Vermont, Rhode Island, District of Columbia, Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Hawaii, Alaska, and the states that are free right now but
are subject to change.
Yes, subject to change within a year are Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Florida.
And of all of those states, the rest of the states are the ones where you can't get an abortion, sadly, because they've made it a part of the law.
So tell me, what are your views on abortion?
Well, technically speaking, abortion is the expulsion or removal of an embryo or fetus and the placenta from the uterus. So that includes stillborns being removed from the uterus no matter what point of the pregnancy they're in. So when you talk about abortion and the laws on it, is kind of a gray area, so to speak. I personally believe that it's your body. You know, you have your own choices. With myself personally, I don't believe in abortion. For myself specifically. So with my body, if I was to get pregnant, I would not have an abortion. Unless in the case, unless in the case of rape or something of that sort, I would not even consider abortion. If it was an accident, that's my fault. You know, if it was planned, that's my doing. You know, it's something that happens to me, and I personally would want to keep it. Now, for other people, when it comes to all the other women in the world, the way that I have my views that it's my body, I can do what I want, and I choose to not have an abortion, it should be the same process for another woman. It's their body, it's their choice to have the abortion that they, if they want to, or to keep it if they want to. It's not, it's not all black and white. Like, you can't just say you can't have an abortion. Like, it's not your body, one. And two, you have the right to make your own decisions about yourself. And now, with Roe versus Wade being overturned, you're basically stripping women of that right. I feel like it's just the men asserting their dominance over women's uteruses. They don't even have a fucking uterus, so they can't make these decisions. They're not a fucking seahorse. Like, if men were seahorses and had to be the one to give birth, they would understand. But they're not. They don't. And they should really just stay out of our vaginas.
I feel kind of how you feel about it. I personally don't want an abortion for myself because, for one, I have a condition where I don't even know if I'm going to be able to carry a kid full term or have kids at all. So I personally, I feel like if I got pregnant, if I was straight and I got pregnant, I would try and hold on to that as
Mm-hmm.
close as I could and not abort it.
But technically, even if you were to try to carry the child and you lost that child, you would have to remove that child from your body in order to prevent sepsis and infection.
Yes, because
And
I just read where if you have a stillborn or if you have if you miscarry, then you also get punished for that also.
so when you miscarry, it technically is seen as a spontaneous abortion. So like I said, any type of expulsion of the fetus from your uterus and the placenta is accounted as
An abortion,
abortion.
yeah.
So you can have a miscarriage and possibly still go to jail. Like that's really fucked up because it's accidental, but it's still an abortion. So that's why I say it's not all black and white. There's a lot of gray areas, especially when it comes to rape and when it comes to medical issues. It's not all black and white. There are so many different scenarios in which a person would have to get an abortion. And now these laws and these men are telling us that we can't. And it's really setting us back as people in general.
We've come so far to not just come this far.
Exactly. We fought so hard for rights, not only as women, but as black women.
Yes.
We fought so hard for these rights. And now all of a sudden, it's on the chopping block in all of these states. There's what, like 20 states
I think
where now you're not allowed to have an abortion? That's almost half. That's almost half of the United States. Like, that's really messed up that you would have to go to another state in order to have your freedom.
Yes, I actually just counted. There are 22 states right now that you cannot get an abortion in.
And 4 more possibly being added within the year.
Yes.
It's fucking ridiculous, honestly.
I just think, me personally, I grew up in a small town. Pretty much everybody knows your business or whatever. And I feel like I just know so many people that have gotten an abortion. Like they're selling crack at the abortion clinic, pretty much.
That's another thing. It's like, yes, there are certain cases where you should have an abortion, but some people, they just feel like they're not ready. And then, that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to be a cum dumpster and get pregnant every couple months, and then go to the free clinic like it's a day spa,
Maybe
those.
you should just only masturbate.
But what I'm saying is, they didn't have to make abortion illegal. I feel like they should have just put some constraints on it. There should be a background testing or a screening before providing an abortion. You need to know how many times have that person had an abortion. Like maybe there should be a quota to how many abortions a woman can have, because if they're having 10 in 1 year, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because I think also it's not healthy to have that many abortions. And I think if you eventually want kids, but you're getting all of these abortions back to back like that, I think after so many abortions, it's going to be very hard for you to conceive or to carry full term.
Honestly, having all of that that's surgery. It's a type of surgery. It's not like getting your ears pierced. It's actually really fucking complicated. And that's such a sensitive area where one misstep and you can bleed out and die. So it's literally life or death sometimes. And it's like, I understand some people need to live their life, but you also need to realize what you're doing, not only to the fetus, but to yourself. And like I said, everyone, they have the right to do what they want with their body, but there should be limitations. There should be some type of quota on how many you can get in a year. Like, it's scary to see so many people going in and out of Planned Parenthood every couple of months
Yeah.
because they can't keep their legs closed. But then that also brings me to like escorts.
Yes.
Like, they have to be extra careful, but I'm assuming that there would be some clients who pay extra for raw sex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what if the escort gets pregnant? Like, that's their job. So would they?
I mean, I would hope they would be on birth control, but as we all know, not everything is 100% effective.
And not everyone has access to birth control.
Yes. And some people just don't like birth control because birth control really does fuck up our bodies.
It fucks with your hormones. It makes you all like, well, you take hormones and you take birth control to control your hormone levels, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it could actually really mess you up. But then again, when you're in a relationship and you want to have unprotected sex, it's natural or usual for the woman to go on birth control so that they can have that unprotected sex. But one thing I worry about, like in relationships and unprotected sex, is most people don't understand that you still have to give consent even when you're in a relationship. And I feel like some couples, they feel like, oh, I'm horny. Let me just ask my partner for sex. And then they expect it to just happen because that's their partner.
When that really isn't the case, because what if one has the higher sex drive, which is sometimes but not always the man in the relationship? So like if they have the higher sex drive and the woman or vice versa doesn't have the higher sex drive, it's kind of like you're just giving in because you feel this
Like,
pressure.
you have to.
Yeah.
You want to please your partner, but you also don't really want to be pleased yourself. Like, it's not something you're interested in all the time. So it's like one person can have a higher sex drive, one person can have a lower sex drive, and it's more of like a power struggle.
Yes.
Like, you feel more powerless when you have a lower sex drive and you're with someone who has a higher sex drive because you feel like they have all the power. Like, they want sex, you feel obligated to give them sex.
And I feel like the person who has the lower sex drive should kind of not like dominate the bedroom, but like have more of a say what goes on in the bedroom because they are obviously feeling something towards sex that it just isn't
It's
rubbing them. Yeah, it's a turn off for them.
And I feel like even in the bedroom and in any relationship, I honestly feel like compromise is key. And I also feel like it's that way in the bedroom. If there are things that you're not willing to do, you try to lay out the things that you are willing to do and then let your partner pick. And I feel like that's what a person with the lower sex drive, they should lay out their options of what they want and what they're comfortable with, and then the person who with the higher sex drive could cater to the person with the lower sex drive, and that would be a good compromise within the relationship sexually and emotionally. And I know that even though we're talking about men and women and their sex drive, it could also be the same for the sex drive of a lesbian or someone in the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yes, like I feel like we also have to get rid of in the LGBTQIA plus community of the gender roles when you're dating the person of the same sex. Like I'm a lesbian, and people oftentimes ask me who's the male, who's the female, who's more masculine, who's more feminine, and we don't really see it as such. We just are us and we love each other. So I'm not looking at her as like, oh, she's the male in the relationship and I'm the female in the relationship. We just do what we do, I guess.
Yeah. And when it comes to same sex relationships, I also worry that with this whole Roe versus Wade overturning, that we might just start going backwards. All these privileges that were given to us through these laws, such as same sex marriages and the legalization of marijuana, I feel like these things might be on the chopping block next. And that's something that I worry about because a lot of my friends are of the LGBTQIA plus community. And I would hate to see their rights get taken away as well. Everyone's rights, especially women, I feel their rights are just being taken away and it's not fair.
I feel like the country, they just give us these things as a tease to have it for a little bit.
Just
But
to see
it's,
how it tastes.
yes, and like we love that freedom so much. And then when they take it away, it's like, why? Like, this was a great thing that you actually did for us. And now we have to go back to rioting. We have to go back to protest. We're just so tired as a country of always having to fight 24/7. Every day you have to wake up and basically put on an armor to go fight.
Mm-hmm. The government loves chaos.
And calming the chaos. That's why we're here.
And I think the government uses this chaos that's going on in the country as a way to distract us from what's probably really going on within our government and overseas, even.
I think they want us to riot in a weird, twisted way. And it doesn't make sense to me. Why do you want us to like riot and start all these protests and stuff just for the police or whoever is there to shoot us, to try and kill us, to try and like refrain us from like speaking our truth and what we think is right? And it doesn't make sense to me how you're trying to kill the people that are already here living and breathing, but you are trying to put a ban on abortion so somebody can like carry a baby full term that they don't even want, that they're going to do more damage by carrying that baby full term or taking things into their own matters and ending the pregnancy themselves. I can also say that I think they used the same tactic when it came to Black Lives Matter to get a whole group of Black people together so that they can just pick us off one by one in one lump sum.
Yeah, and find a reason to just start killing us off, especially since we're all grouped together, it's more easier target. And I feel like most of the government is made up of men. So I think this is becoming an issue of male domination over women's rights. And I think that's becoming the issue. It's more of a power struggle. Like men feel like they have to be on top. Men feel like they have to be very misogynistic about everything.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of men too are stuck in like the 1920s.
Old fashioned.
Yes, very, very old fashioned to the point of like, oh, a man should make more of a wage than a woman should. Even if you're doing the same exact thing, working in the same exact field, they feel that they should always be superior to you. And it doesn't make any sense to me because honestly, I feel like as women, even though we are getting set back a little bit, I feel like women are about to take over this world. Just you watch.
Let me tell you, girl, who run the world?
Girls.
And that will always be the case. And I think men know that. And they're intimidated by us. And that's why they act in this dominant, like, you're a subordinate to us type of way because they know how powerful we really are. They know how powerful our voices can be. And they're scared.
Yes, and a lot of men with dating are offended by women when they don't live up to their expectation of a woman should be in the kitchen. A woman only needs to like cook and clean. A woman should be a stay-at-home mother. Well, like, no, I want my own money because if you fuck up, I need a way out.
Exactly. And it's like we need to learn, we need to be able to support ourselves. I know some men are just like, oh, sweetie, I got you. Like, you don't even got to work. I'll support you. Okay, you say you're going to support me, but then what if you lose your job? Then what am I supposed to do? Struggle with you? I think not. I'm going to make my own money. I'm going to go off.
Yes, and a lot of men are also like uncomfortable with women success. They don't like to see a woman doing better than them, which it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're in a relationship together, you should be rooting for each other cold heartedly all the way. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're lacking in this, I'm gonna pick you up. If I'm lacking in this, you pick me up, and that's how it should be.
It shouldn't be a power struggle
yes.
all the time, just seeing who wears the pants. Like, why can't you both wear the pants? Like, it should be a compromise. It should be, you sharing your success with another person who's also successful. It shouldn't just be male dominating over everything or even a female dominating over everything. It shouldn't be that way. Even in like same sex relationships, there shouldn't be the man, quote unquote, in the relationship. There shouldn't be the quote unquote female in the relationship. It should just be an equal partnership. It shouldn't be a domination over another person. That's not respect. That's not having respect for the person that you're with.
And also, since you're talking about respect too, men need to stop catcalling women. It is not cute.
It's really not.
I really just like, if you catcall me, I really am just like, I'm not even flattered. I don't even look your way. I don't care. Like, it just to you guys, you guys think that by you catcalling us, we should be appreciative and thankful for that, which is ass backwards if you ask me.
I feel like it's more degrading.
And
you're
disgusting.
Like, ooh, look at that piece of meat. It's called cat calling because you're trying to get pussy. Like,
literally.
Cat calling. So,
but it won't be mine.
Not my pussy. So, that's how I feel about catcalling. It's more of they're trying to make you feel like you have to react a certain way because they're more dominant over you. They're like, "Oh, mommy, how you doing? Let me get your number." Like, no, if I'm not interested in you, I have the right to say no.
How about take me on a date?
Yes. Why can't people go on dates anymore? Like, why does it have to be one way or another? Like, it's either sex or nothing type of relationships nowadays, or starting of relationships nowadays.
And I feel like a lot of men too are like serial cheaters because the Madonna horror complex of if somebody is wife material, you're not sexually attracted to them because you think the sex is going to be boring and you think that their personality is going to be boring. But if you think somebody is a whore, you think they're going to be fun, adventurous, the bedroom is going to be lit, you guys are going to have wonderful sex. But that's sometimes not always the case. And I honestly would rather have sex with someone who is going to be like a wife and a mother and nurturing and caring than someone who is probably just trying to get a nut off just like you and then bye.
One thing about dating, like I said, it's sex or nothing. And with guys, it's like they want sex and they want all of this attention, sexual attention. But I feel like they base how well they like you on the sex that you have with them. And honestly, I feel as though with women, the sex could be trash. Women don't even come really. Like, it's very slim if a woman actually has an orgasm when they have sex with a man. And it seems as though
they're only focusing on their sexual needs. They're not focusing on the women's sexual needs at all. As long as they got their nut off, everything is fine to them.
And it's also, if a woman has sex with a man and they don't even get their satisfaction, they're still willing to go on a second date with them because it's more about the personality of the man and not the sex. The sex could get better and improve as the connection improves. With men, it's more of like if the sex wasn't as good as they were hoping it was, you're nothing to them after. Like, the personality doesn't really even matter. It's more of how that first sexual experience happens. And I've experienced this so much within dating. Like, I'm in the dating pool And every time I meet a guy, I tell them I don't want having sex to be the way that we get to know each other. I want to go on dates. I want to have conversations. I want to actually feel comfortable with you before giving you my body. But men, when they first meet a woman, they want all their nudes. They want to have sexual conversations. And when a woman won't give it to them, they're not worth their time.
Because they're a sexual narcissist.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also why men are so prone to cheating, because they need that sexual attention one way or another. And if a woman doesn't give it to them off the bat, then they're on to the next.
And then they will sit there and try and criticize your body and try and make you feel less than and diminish your power as a woman. And honestly, women, we're pretty badass. We literally go through the utmost shit and bring life into this world. Like, what more of a badass could you want? And men literally just sit there and
run.
Yeah. Literally, sit there and run.
When women, yes, they're all gung-ho about unprotected sex, which I think if men were to get a vasectomy, which is reversible, a lot of this abortion stuff wouldn't be an issue. Because if they were to get a vasectomy and then, have unprotected sex with their partners, when they're ready to have kids, they can just reverse that procedure and then try for kids. Why do women have to have regulations on their bodies, but men don't have any regulations on theirs?
And I know I saw something about male birth control, like going around the internet or whatever, which I don't think they would ever do, because then a man has to like regulate their body. They don't. I just don't understand how they can be in somebody else's ovaries, but they can't do the necessary things that they need to do so that it can protect them having a baby also.
Why is it the woman's job to prevent the pregnancy but not the men's job? And then when they do get pregnant and decide to keep it, it's okay for the man to run and not be around for that child, leaving the mother a single mother going through life raising a child on their own. But it's okay for the male to not be there. It's okay for a man to leave their child, but it's not okay for the woman to not want to have said child.
And even if they were to have that child, you can't even say, oh, well, just put him on child support, because he can not
pay it.
Yeah, he can either not pay it and go to jail, or he could just quit working.
Yeah, if they're not making any income, then they can't pay for the child support, and that's just their way of getting out of it. Like, they can just live off assistance and just be themselves. Like, they don't have to even pay it out of pocket. Women, would y'all consider just no sex until they change these laws? Because men, they can't go without sex. That is a fact. Men cannot go without sex. And if
some women, we don't know what y'all do behind closed doors, but facts. Some women too.
Yeah, that's true. Because, it would be hard to hold out. But, that's what toys are for, honey. But it's like, if I honestly feel like we hold out long enough, some of these men, especially in higher up power, like, they'll be so sex deprived, they'll be like, all right, give these women their uteruses back. Like, I need sex. We need no more children. Like,
know what will happen?
What?
They'll probably end up fucking each other. The men.
They'll get so desperate that they'll go gay. Oh.
Then maybe I can actually handle the male species if they all go gay, because I only really fuck with gay males. Because all straight men have just given me like
misogynistic vibes
and the ick. Ugh. Anyways, we're sorry that this podcast is going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but these are our opinions, and we just wanted to get that out of the way first and foremost. Everything that you hear is strictly just our opinions and stuff that we just felt like we needed to get off our chest. But if you have an opposing opinion, we would love to hear them, and we still support you as we all are in this together. We hope that you all enjoyed listening to this podcast, and please, please, please comment and give us some feedback in our DMs on Instagram, which is calming the chaos _22. That is calming the chaos _22. We would really appreciate your feedback so that we can start this healthy discussion as Americans that we all need to have.
And we would love to hear your stories if you have any abortion stories or even stories on other topics that we had in our other podcasts. We would love to hear about your experiences and the things that you guys have gone through. You guys have a voice too.
And if there's anything you would like to change our views on,
Mhm.
we're open for any discussion, whether it be good, bad, or in between. We are new at this, so we just really would like to hear everyone's feedback as much as we can.
Also, if you guys have any topics that you want us to talk about, we are very open minded to the different topics that you guys want to hear. So just let us know.
Yes. Well, I'm Zaria,
And I'm Maika.
and this is
Calming
Calming
the
the
Chaos.
Chaos.
Bye.
Bye!